no tengo problema.
Brian, you're on.
Yeah, if you're speaking Spanish,
¿Qué pasó? Good evening, everybody online and here. Thank you for coming. Brian Lewis, Chairman, Wake County Libertarian Party. And tonight's presentation is going to be provided by Kenneth Penkowski, who is the Vice Chairman of the platform.
The Chairman.
Chairman.
The Interim Chairman.
Interim Chairman of the Platform Committee. And, you know, we are a political party, and party does not dictate our beliefs and our what we do. Party is how we self-identify ourselves and self-associate. And in doing that, there's a platform process to discuss the details of what it is that unifies us and brings us together as a group, and how we identify commonly as libertarians. That makes that process very important, and making sure that our platform is up to date with the issues at hand and dealing with the realities that are before us, and help us in an organizational process. Very important for what we do. And so I would like to hand over to Ken, and thank you so much for offering to do this under the conditions and notices that we've provided, and enlighten us, please.
Sure. Well, certainly. Thank you very much, Brian. I'm glad to be here. So I've been involved with the Wake County Libertarian Party for a little while. I've also been involved in the state party for a while, so this is kind of home turf for me. Recently got involved in the Platform Committee because I'm definitely very passionate about how we as libertarians can have a broad appeal and explain, but really kind of explore the positions that we hold in a way that makes sense to a lot of people. I think libertarianism, unlike other, Libertarian Party based on libertarianism, unlike other political parties, is really based on a set of principles which need to be followed kind of through to their logical conclusion, the result of which is sometimes not intuitive to people. So when people say, there should be a law that prohibits people from smoking marijuana, the libertarian response could, we need to have a good response to say, well, we don't think that, obviously we think that anyone who engages in activities which are detrimental to their health should, it's probably not a good idea to do that. But at the same time, we can also say, but using the force of government to put them in a prison, put them in a cage is kind of counterproductive to actually helping them to make better decisions, allowing them to make better decisions. So anyway, the Platform Committee is kind of, was started, this generation of the Platform Committee kind of took up the mantle from the 2014 convention, where the last revision of the platform was discussed. And the platform has kind of traditionally been dealt with in kind of minor ways, in small chunks. Certain planks are added, certain planks might have been deleted, some are edited, but it's not very often that we take kind of a holistic look at the platform and really do a large revision. That was kind of the consensus of the convention 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and so that's what we've been doing, is really kind of taking a look at, is it time to kind of not necessarily replace the platform, but just make sure, just really tighten it up, make sure that it's addressing all of the issues that North Carolina currently faces. If there are any issues that are less important, make sure that those can kind of fall off the table a little bit, and make sure we're communicating in the best way we can. So roughly, that's been the goal of the committee. We've just kind of actively been meeting over the last month or 2 months, and we have a really good process for, I think we started out by going kind of plank by plank and kind of assessing what was important that we keep, you know, what looked good but probably needs some revision or updating, and then what doesn't seem to really be a pertinent issue here in North Carolina. Then we went through and reorganized a lot of the platforms. Although issues tend to sometimes bleed over into different areas, we thought that we could go, we could put together a platform that dealt with 3 different main topic areas. The first one being personal freedom and individual rights. The second one being economic freedom, the free market, and social cooperation. And then the third one being the role of government. And of course, that order was chosen purposefully because we believe that personal freedom and individual rights are certainly one of the most important things we could do. Then talking about economic freedom, the free market, but social cooperation as well, and how we work together. So what rights do we have as individuals, and then how can we, in a very positive, very free way, work together to achieve the goals that we have as a society. And then, of course, finally, you know, the role of government. For those times when we can morally justify government intervention, what can the government do? What should they never do? Kind of falls into that category. So I think, again, the platforms are really important communication tool. It helps our candidates because it kind of gives them the quick and dirty of what we as a state party stand for, and helps them to kind of understand as they're getting questions on a number of issues, especially our candidates who are running for General Assembly. As they're getting those issues, they've got a crib sheet that they can go to, and they can at least have the basis for what their positions as a candidate could be in order to be in alignment with what the state party is talking about. So if anyone is, of course, interested in participating, we are an open committee. We meet a lot online. We also do a couple meetings in person. Have done a couple in person. And if anyone has an issue that they're particularly passionate about, like education or the environment, and just want to kind of contribute to that specific area of the platform without kind of getting involved on a broader scale, that's certainly welcome as well. If you just want to sit in, we haven't officially announced kind of an advisory board, but we wanted to get a group of people together to kind of act as an advisory team. So as the committee is working, we're not just our own echo chamber, and that we have people we can reach out to in other areas. So they can kind of check what we're doing. I think one of the most important things we're going to be doing, because there's going to be such a large revision of the platform, is to make sure everyone just stays informed about what those changes are, what direction we're going, why we're making those changes, so that when it comes down to convention time next April, we will have, there won't be a lot of questions. We'll be able to, everyone will be very comfortable with the direction we're going, and we'll realize this for the very positive step that it is. So that's kind of an overview of where the platform committee is. One of the first steps that we've put down on, I like to say put down on paper, but I should say put down in electrons, is our preamble. The preamble has suffered kind of in microcosm from the same things that the platform has suffered on a larger scale, in that it's kind of it's been a process or a product of a number of kind of revisions and edits, which has kept things kind of, or has resulted in kind of a lack of focus. So with the idea that as libertarians we stand for people and not politics, we've done a kind of full rewrite of the preamble in order to really focus on the fact that the Libertarian Party is here to represent people. I mean, we believe in the people of North Carolina. We believe in their ability to and their right to run their own lives, their ability to come together as a community to solve problems that they face as communities, their ability to solve problems through economic and commercial means that benefit consumers as well as producers. And of course, government has oftentimes stood in the way of that progress and that innovation. And that we believe that when there's a conflict between what we as people and what we as communities want to do and what government requires us to do, oftentimes the former, almost always the former, is the right way to go. So
Have that preamble?
I do have that preamble. I would be happy to read it to you if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
All right.
That build up.
I know. All right, so this is our proposed preamble. It starts, we believe in the people of North Carolina. We believe in their spirit, their ingenuity, and their compassion. From the mountains to the coast, from those who here trace colonial roots to those who have just arrived, the promise of a free, peaceful, prosperous state is not beyond the reach of any who strive to make a better lives for themselves, their families, and their communities. From first in flight to the advanced innovations that will lead the 21st century, North Carolina has been a place where individuals engaged in voluntary social cooperation have tapped into free market incentives and a respect for the dignity of others to solve some of humanity's most critical challenges. And while we realize the countless ways North Carolinians have made the world a better place, we are particularly proud of the ways that neighbors help neighbors, families encourage families, and people come together with strength, respect, and understanding to celebrate and support diversity and individuality within our communities. Freedom is the natural condition of all human beings, but far too often, government stifles innovation through regulation, subverts compassion through bureaucracy, and suppresses achievement through economic manipulation. And in so doing, limits our potential to work together voluntarily in achieving shared success and individual fulfillment. The Libertarian Party of North Carolina holds that state, county, and local governments should never stand in the way of the people of North Carolina, of who we are, who we can be, and what we can achieve, so long as each individual respects those same rights in others.
And that's the final bit.
Yes, that has been approved by the committee to be presented as.
Seems to be the major concern.
Only the number that need to be there.
Is that product available online?
It is. We're looking for the best ways to give that broader distribution. Currently, it's in we have a Google working doc that's obviously available to anyone who has access to the party's resources on Google Drive. But we're looking at making this available on the website at lpnc.org in the very near term. Yeah, I think we've set up a page. We just haven't quite gotten.
Is there a link to the drive on the LPNC?
I believe there is not.
I didn't see one.
Yeah, Drive's not technically a public kind of resource. But we are looking at making.
When Barbara and Tom were trying to get the web page that they set up, I sent one online.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can have a dead page. You would have to know the address to that page, and it's not linked anywhere.
No, this was a public page. I posted the last part of it every time we made changes. And posted to the website. It was public. All you have to do is go to the website, you can find it.
So we're happy to do that. We want to be inclusive as possible. We want to make sure that people get all the information that they can.
You set it up as a volunteer page, and you can actually have some choices for people who want to get involved, and then process who are directing them where they want to go.
Yeah, I think an information page probably could have a linking to maybe a volunteer page for anyone.
It could actually be one day if you want.
It's already there. It's already up there.
I'm sure we can make it happen.
How do people get involved at this point? Call you.
Sure, you can email me Yeah, I think
Are you actively using the Yahoo?
we are for this kind of conversation. I believe the chair of the party, Mr. Summerall, technically needs to make it official that someone becomes a member of the committee itself. But as far as we haven't really breached or haven't broached the advisory roles or other input from the general membership. But yeah, certainly emailing me is fine, and then we can facilitate making that happen.
Kenneth Penkowski at LPNC.org.
That would be great. That'd be great. I couldn't remember if there's a dot in there. I think there's not. So K Penkowski, KPENKOWSKI at LPNC.org.
Wonderful. As far as this process and going into the convention, wanting to ensure that everybody is as advised and that it's not a dynamic conversation, but rather an approval process at the convention, which is what the convention's for, is approval or disapproval. So that's why I'm asking the question. And what's the expectation there in terms of having everybody sort of on board so that it's not a dragged out?
Yeah, so in the lead up to the convention, we want to do more kind of sessions like this.
Before the
convention, yes. Try to get out to some of the major affiliates. Obviously, there is a kind of core group of usual suspects that shows up at the convention. And there are some very dynamic personalities that do show up. And so I think having an inclusive process with those folks is
ahead of time.
Yeah, in advance is going to benefit everything.
Indeed.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments? Yes, Mr. Emery.
Getting down the weeds.
Please.
I'm proud that we were first in freedom, first in flight, but I think it's more important to mention first in freedom, particularly in the Libertarian. That might be not only were we first in freedom, but also we were first in flight.
Yeah. That's what our license plates say.
First and foremost.
We have no license
first in
plates.
freedom. We were the first place to declare for independence.
Last act to ratify the Constitution, last state to achieve the
But
So we're the first
more troops. There's some argument about that. If you go to Connecticut or someplace, they'll argue about whether we were first.
I think it's a tough time about first in flight. I mean, you can't win.
Yeah, I think we're looking for kind of a punchy way to talk about economic freedom, and the idea of travel and flight specifically being kind of an early facilitator of economic activity, transportation, to now digital communication and internet-based stuff. That we're still leading on several economic fronts. I think is where we're trying to go with that.
I also have to say I like the cohesiveness of the metaphor in the sense that the whole preface to me is soaring. I mean, I think the flight really helps kind of make that event. It's not overt, but it kind of brings it, in the back of your mind. What do you think of that?
Well, thanks everyone for listening to me talk about that, and I appreciate the opportunity to come here and present. Yes. Yeah, I think as we get to more of, I'd be happy to talk about which ones we decided to drop.
some of those questions.
Yeah, there's some, yeah,
You're doing a major
right. Yes.
quality of chance to be.
There,
The second issue you were talking about earlier about how we going to get the convention.
right. There will, I mean, that's going to be tough because there were some planks that we decided to drop for different reasons, not because they were bad ideas, but in some cases they were redundant with other planks that had come before or after them. In some cases, there were a couple different ideas that we felt could be combined together into a single stronger plank. And so having, 3 separate planks didn't seem to be doing us any good there. There were some things that were just, I'm trying to, there's.
One quick question, are you gonna put the presentation tomorrow on WakeLP?
Yes, Brad
As
is.
a PDF or something?
Yeah, we're looking for ways to make sure this information gets available out to as many people as possible, as early as possible. So it'll probably be on lpnc.org somewhere, like once we kind of
Oh, okay, so this
make
is
that happen.
This isn't Wake candidates.
this is right. Which is compounds the fun, right? And Wake County's been, you usually sail through stuff pretty quickly at Wake County conventions.
And don't show up late.
Yeah, right, or you get made chairman.
Or treasurer.
So yeah, one of the things we're doing is with each plank, we've kind of come up with a, not necessarily a format, but a guideline as far as how we want to approach each of these issues. But again, puts principle and people first, shows how government has been counterproductive, unresponsive, antiquated in that area, and then illustrates how free people and free markets would do a much better job at satisfying the goals that we all have for whatever topic. Yeah, I think personally that's one of obviously Uber and Airbnb, sharing economy, all that stuff is very important now because it's really transforming the way that the people exchange value in society, and government is, I mean, if they were unequipped for the internet, they're woefully
I
under-equipped.
hope it levels out because right now Uber is like Amway. Serious. There's no money in it for the drivers. And they're gonna, because it's not slavery, they're just gonna lose all the victims.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
It's gonna become a joke like Amway.
well, that's the nice thing about the free economy. Yeah.
Somebody's entitled to step up and improve those things.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about free economy and creative destruction and innovation is that if it becomes a bad deal for drivers, then you'll have less drivers, you'll have poor drivers, and then the customers, like riders, are going to stop using it. And then if it gets bad enough, that solution will go away. If this were a government-sponsored solution, they would have enshrined it in legislation.
And then short it up with taxpayers.
Yeah, then shored up the taxpayer funds, and we'd be suffering with it forever.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Totally, I understand that.
I mean, I love when those kind of free market commercial ideas go bust because that just lets us get to the next thing,
That's right.
and then we get the benefit.
Several years ago, MySpace was the hottest thing going. Now it's,
That's right.
But one of the big advantages, and that's the creative destruction process there, is if Uber just goofs this up and doesn't figure out how to adjust itself, at some point its assets become available for purchase. And you're going to have the positive and functional assets, and their algorithm and program works very well. And somebody who's got a better model to provide the service buys what functions from Uber or licenses to use it from Uber, then we get the best products available. Right. And then somebody doesn't have to reinvent the wheel to do this, literally. Pun intended.
Getting back to the platform,
You bet your butt.
I'm just concerned that you're talking about They should rewrite the entire constitution in this platform.
Yeah, in practical terms,
And
yes.
yet, the rules of party don't allow it. According to the convention rules, we have to vote on each plank separately, but they're not.
We're still discussing how to do that. I don't have a solution to that at this point, but we're confident that we can do that. And don't the democratic rules allow for the majority just to do whatever they want? We were able to get a majority of people to say, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that might not be possible either.
I've made a suggestion, I haven't seen it.
Right.
You don't do it at the time.
Yeah.
I've thought about it.
Yeah, we are.
I'll suggest it.
I think our next meeting, the next platform committee meeting, we have dedicated some time towards talking about procedurally how we're going
Selling the
to move
idea
forward.
that what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do nothing else except change the preamble. Which you can do in one fell swoop.
Right, because that's one thing. Yeah. But I think there's going to be a lot of. I think it's just helping people understand all the advantages that are going to come from this effort, and the fact that even if there are things they don't like in detail, that the larger changes, the details can always be addressed after the major changes have been done.
Well, I have to avoid getting into discussions about first and flight versus first and freedom. It's like arguing about the omnipotent state. Arguing over a phrase.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
That's
I think everyone recognizes that no one's going to get everything they want out of that process.
Good job.
Thank you. Are we done?
Indeed.